Tonight, there is a title unification match. Surprising debuts in return. And can somebody please get Michael Cole a throat lozenge? It's a Monday Night Raw after show, and it starts right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, the Raw after WrestleMania. I gotta say, this right here should be a national holiday. Lola Boyce is here, being joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the controversial firebrand, hashtag heel Jim Alexander.
You know, as much as you people hate me out there, I show up. Okay, no shot. Everyone else is in New York. They're in New York enjoying Raw and WrestleMania, but I am here to entertain all of you. So appreciate that next time you write a comment. And I am the Jim Alexander. Heel Jim.
10 seconds in, you buried the entire rest of our host panel. That's right.
Shout out to Evan Mack.
Evan Mack, TK Trinidad, and John LaCrosse are over in the East Coast representing for AfterBuzz TV in the WrestleMania week extravaganza, the biggest week in pro wrestling. And your boy Johnny Gargano, Johnny Champion, right? Officially a player. The chat blew up, was like, yo, where's Jim Alexander? We have a new NXT champion and Johnny Gargano.
I was doing better stuff during that main event on Friday night. Listen, that's the best he could do. This is his pinnacle. This is a career highlight for you, Johnny. That's as best as it gets.
I agree. It's a highlight, but I think is more on the way. I mean, this guy is
what?
Top guy? No?
Well, he's going to stay in NXT now for the next year for sure.
Oh.
He just saved himself from being eliminated next year's Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial.
Is that the basic, the purgatory, is being a Battle Royal?
Yeah, pretty much.
Shout out to EC3, y'all. He did pretty well.
Oh, my God.
So we're one night removed from WrestleMania. I want to hear overall thoughts of that before we go into Raw because they're all intertwined. What did you think about WrestleMania top story?
I thought it was poorly executed.
What?
From
Yo, seriously?
Straight up.
Oh,
no
wow.
lies here. You know that.
I thought you were
poorly
kidding.
executed. I'll tell you why. I thought the booking, the match, like the way they placed the matches was one of the worst booking I've ever seen.
I agree
Not
with
only
the
in
match
WrestleMania. You don't start out the show of all shows with a world title match impromptu and then follow the match that should have potentially opened it with AJ and Orton going number 2 after that. It just the order of the whole night was just out of whack. The first half of the show saw 2 world title matches and then it was downhill afterwards. And it was bad because the set, they went so cheap and lazy on the set. They didn't even add any structures. They didn't add anything. They just put an oversized Titantron.
That's not cheap at all.
Doesn't matter.
Cheap.
You can do that on a regular show. You can put a bigger Titantron. I know they probably did the biggest one of all time, but you didn't put anything.
Yeah.
Like, look at the last time they were in New York. They had that whole Statue of Liberty. It's such a cool setup. Every outdoor show has a great setup. It gives them an opportunity to have a great setup. They went cheap. They just went basic as hell. And it just showed with the entire pay-per-view, the way it was booked. I was really unimpressed with WrestleMania. There's some matches that were good, but overall, I thought it was pleasing the fans because they didn't build any storylines and it showed.
Okay, so let's just to get a base. How did you compare this year's to last year as far as overall enjoyment? I want to make sure where your opinions lie.
I prefer last year's.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
the chat obviously disagrees with you. A lot of boos and boos this man, you know. I'm talking to the chat right now. You guys can interact with us in the chat. We'll answer all questions and comments and use that super chat function to make sure your comment goes on top. Now, for me, I actually liked it. Now, I do agree with you. The pacing was weird. I mean, having the WWE title match was kind of early. The Angle match was sort of late.
The match was garbage. Because it wasn't really a match. It was just a beatdown and then 3 finishers.
Okay, I'll take it. But I think, look, with a show this large, you're going to have to open the show with a world title match. We did it before when the World Heavyweight Championship. We did it when the WWE title was held by AJ Styles. I think it was refreshing. This time it was Brock Lesnar in a way where it was like, we're on his way out of here, and your boy Seth Rollins got a chance to do his little stompy thing, you know?
It didn't make him look good, though. Yeah. I didn't feel that this match, we came on with this match where anyone looking strong. Seth Rollins did not look strong because he literally had a low blow and then 3 finish. And it really undermined everything Brock Lesnar's done for the last 5 years, the way they built him. He's kicked out of multiple tombstones and F5s and 3 finishers in a row from Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And he's done. He didn't even get to get back up from a low blow. It just made Brock Lesnar look weak, I felt, in a lot of ways. And Seth Rollins deserved a better way of getting a title. The right guy won the title.
Sure.
Just the approach to it, the race until the finish was just poorly executed.
All right. Wow, poorly executed. Final words on WrestleMania before we talk about Raw today? Just final thoughts.
Final WrestleMania, I mean, it was just not that memorable in a lot of ways. I thought it was a cluster of mess. They didn't know what to do with the announcers. They didn't know.
What?
The pacing was off. Everything was off, and it just showed, because I said it for weeks. They were not prepared with all the other feuds and the angles, and it showed how messy it was and cluttered in a lot of ways. And that's what WrestleMania turned into.
Real quick, allow me to disagree. That show was long, yes, but it had an amazing intro. I love the celebration of the good announcers throughout the years. I thought some of the things were great. Even the matches where I did not like, for example, the Miz Shane match had some moments.
That stole the show. Are you kidding?
That stole the show.
That was by far the best match of the night.
Okay, we should move on. We're going to move on.
That was the best match. Those two guys stole the show with those.
Yeah.
And not only that last spot.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the entire match.
Yeah.
They really gave it their all. They went all out. Shane took all sorts of bumps. I just thought these two guys went out and stole the show. I really did.
Yeah, why does Shane have a spot, though? That's the question I had going in. Like, why? Okay, yeah, you're great. You're the best in the world, yeah, whatever. But why? Why, Shane? Why?
Because he's been doing it the last few Manias. It's becoming a thing to wrestle Shane at WrestleMania.
Exactly. You want new stars, but Shadow Mac is going to go to WrestleMania. But
and steal the show, because no one else did.
Monday Night Raw, the night after Mania, Barclays Center, Brooklyn, my hometown. So sad I wasn't there. Shout out to Evan Mack. You got to go there.
Hey.
What do you think about that? Today's episode overall. I know it kind of ended kind of weird, but what do you think overall?
I thought it was a better show than Mania.
What?
It was a better show than Mania.
And how so?
Because you had Undertaker there. You had so many debuts. You have Lars debut. You just had a lot. The whole show, something was happening. Literally, you had after every commercial break, there was something new happening, something fresh, some sort of new introduction. It just had great pacing, as opposed, and the crowd was into it. And obviously, you can feel, because it is not going into the heavens, right? All the thing. But it was just a lot more intimate show in a lot of ways. And the ending was clunky for sure. That was a whole mess. I felt like we kind of got played all along. It was like a cheap setup, but everything overall, I thought it was a really good show, better than Mania.
Overall, the show was definitely solid top to bottom. Didn't like the way it ended. Compared to other Raws after Manias, I don't think it kind of stacks up as much, but you're right. There were some debuts we loved, and we'll get into that soon. There's a lot of matches there too. Now, I gotta be honest with you. When I saw Kofi Kingston come out against Seth, I was like, is this going to happen right now? And they didn't wait till another pay-per-view. They didn't say, at Saudi Arabia, it's going to be a unification match.
You knew everything setting up to that.
Yeah, exactly. That's a new WrestleMania. What did you think of them even teasing that idea of a unification match one day after the women's unification match? Was that cheap? Was that something cool?
It's cheap because they were gonna do the brand split. They already announced it. Kofi said, let's unify titles, but next week we're doing a brand split.
Right.
So you knew something was up there, and it probably wouldn't happen. And it was okay if they didn't change hands and if someone interfered. It's just the wrong people interfered. It should have been Daniel Bryan, the one interfering, because he actually has a legitimate beef. He has a storyline with Kofi. There was no purpose for the Bar to show up there. It was just so random and dumb and bizarre. Even if you wanted to do a tag team match, hey, Daniel Bryan and Rowan, right? I mean, it just made too much sense, and they just blew it. Because the Bar, last time we saw it, they haven't been over. They've been just fumbling around on SmackDown in a lot of ways. I just thought that was a weak booking there.
I gotta say, as a huge fan of the Bar, and as Sheamus specifically, that made no sense as well. Again, I'm still kind of salty at Mania having Sheamus take the pin in that match. You're right. I feel like not necessarily Eric Rowan or Daniel Bryan, but I feel like something else should have happened to cause that to be, we'll deal with this now.
Something that can set up a feud, not just a one-off, that didn't even do anything for anyone here.
So let me ask you this question then. So let's say you set up this unification match and it's happening, and you're not going to give away this match on TV. What would you have done? I mean, I feel like they put themselves in a corner there. Have they not?
You had to interfere. Yeah. It just had to end in a disqualification in some way, because there's no way you're gonna have somewhat. I mean, that would have been a bigger moment than Mania in a sense. What we're watching Mania for if they're gonna have a unification match on Raw the next night. Yeah. So you knew there was going to be an interference. You just needed the right people to do it, and do it in a lot more seamless way that would set you up with feuds going down the line. And this just didn't accomplish anything in any way. And they teased a little bit of a match. We got some 5-10 minutes of them going against each other, which was all right, but just the wrong people they had to interfere.
Sure. And I think it's kind of a placeholder week in that regard, because next week is the Superstar Shakeup. So the one time of the year,
I'll say this. They should have waited a little bit longer for the Superstar Shakeup. It's too much going on. We're still getting off the Mania high and the after show. You could have waited a week or two before giving us something to look forward to. It's just too much clustered in one time.
Do you think is the increased number of pay-per-views in that little area that causes them to even speed up the Shakeups?
Well, the next one is Money in a Bank, right?
Stateside, yeah. I'm not sure when the Saudi
Arabia. I think you said
Arabia...
something about May.
Money in the Bank is in May for sure, but I'm not sure about the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, if that's going before
June.
Or that's in June.
They moved it to June.
So you would have waited to the end of April for that.
Yeah, totally. And it gives you more time to kind of, and you don't need to set up any feuds. You can just continue post-Mania things for a couple weeks and then hype up this Superstar Shakeup more. Like, this is just happening so briefly. We're still talking about Mania, and we're not even really thinking about the Superstar Shakeup.
So this is maybe my pet peeve here, because I remember the days of the draft, and that was an event, and someone saying, well, some years it was, we select this guy. Some years if they win this match, they're going to whatever brand they're going to.
Right.
It's hard to hype up a shakeup if it's just like, by the way, this guy's coming, and this guy's going.
And just randomly, how did it happen? Why this person?
Was it
we
a
never
signing?
get it.
There's no general managers anymore. How does that necessarily work?
It just randomly just show up. I don't like the way they do it now. I like the draft way. It was a lot more hyped. You know, it was a lot more like sports-wise. Right. You look at it like who's going to be the first pick, who's going to be traded. It was just an event in itself. Now it's just like, who's jumping on, randomly.
So 6 days away or 7 days away, do you have any picks in your mind of who's going to be shooken up?
I think we should end the show with that, don't you think? I think we got something.
A special segment? All right, cool.
Yeah, let's do it in a special segment.
No problem. So moving on. So we definitely have some very, very uplifting promos from your boy, Seth Rollins, and also Becky Lynch. And I was impressed with both of them because they could have panned and they did a little bit because you deserve it, the new crowd and whatever. Do you think Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins have clear paths to go now? Or do you think that this is like basically their clean slate of things? Do you think it's going to be an extension? Is there going to be someone to slay that Beast Slayer?
I mean, Brock's not coming around, right? No. So Seth Rollins has a new clean slate completely. We don't know. It could be anyone. I think it's going to be actually someone that's going to come over from the Shakeup.
Okay.
Because I don't see anyone on the roster right now that's fitting. I think the best one would have been Drew McIntyre. But as we called it, we were talking, they killed him last night. That was another bad thing about this WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre just got absolutely all the entire month or so, he was destroying people.
Yeah.
For nothing, because he cleanly just got pinned and lost, and all that he built, all that credibility just went out the window.
Because of one match?
Yeah. He had to win that match.
Doesn't that say a lot about a character if one match can destroy your entire run?
Because
it wasn't a squash. It wasn't like he got in overwhelmed and that was it.
It wasn't a squash, but he had to win to continue a momentum. It would have just taken him to another level. Now he's set back. It is a major setback.
Sure, I would agree with you only because we didn't see him tonight. I think if he had a way to make that happen and make it go into his character, maybe. But the fact that he lost and disappeared like a level 1 video game boss, it was kind of weird there.
There you go.
But about your girl Becky, though, two-time, right? Or one time. But Raw champion, SmackDown champion, she's going there holding both belts, gets attacked by Lacey Evans. I know for weeks we were saying, what is Lacey doing? She comes in like this. Now, I got to ask you, are you excited to see her doing something physical, or is it kind of like, what's the point?
No, I mean, I'm excited. I think this is kind of the build-up. You were just waiting to hold her around through WrestleMania, right? Get through WrestleMania, and then you can debut her. Because it would have made sense earlier.
She's in the Rumble, though.
And she's legitimate. Like, we saw her every week. She was on our mind, right? Because she was coming out every week to give us that tease of her being around. And now we saw what she's capable of it. And I think her versus Becky Lynch is a perfect feud to start off because you can't go back to Charlotte.
Right.
It's been played off too many times. You need something fresh and doesn't get more newer than Lacey Evans, right? And that way we don't know what she's capable of. We don't know what she showed a mean streak today, which we didn't know she was capable of that too. I like this feud.
Lacey Evans is a fantastic competitor, but if you cut off all of her NXT things, she walked on the ramps for months or weeks or months. Totally got her booty handed to her at the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? Like, how do you build that up? Like, just because you punched her in the face once? You think that's all it needs? Or you think it's going to be a mind game thing? Like, what does that say about her character? And what does that say about the new crop of graduates that are coming into the main roster?
The thing is, we didn't see her do anything in a lot of ways. So that's a good thing because it saved her in so many ways. We didn't see her get pinned or anything where she's still fresh in everyone's mind, and especially those who haven't watched NXT or anything like that, or just have seen her on Raw or SmackDown, wherever she was coming out. We don't know what to expect in a lot of ways. So even if she people remember something, it's forgotten in that sense. Like, she gets a clean slate, and now it's her proving point of what she can do and how she can hang.
Right.
And they're going right for Becky Lynch. So, hey, this is no better opportunity for her than that.
So post Ronda as being the champ, are you into the women's division, or are you thinking, well, it's kind of a down period now?
Well, no, they trashed it. They trashed the women's division. What they did, that's what we're talking about this last week, and every kind of all this thing about putting the title, taking the title off Asuka, putting it on Charlotte. And putting all the chips into this match.
Right.
What I asked that question last week. What is going to be the lasting effect of this?
Right.
I know everyone focuses on WrestleMania, but now you're going to see all the negativity that's going to come with it, that they didn't build up a SmackDown brand. They basically trashed it. There's no champion really there. They made a lot of women look bad, like Asuka, who were, championship material in a lot of ways. Mandy Rose, they were in a pre-show battle royal. I mean, really, Carmella won. Yeah, it's randomly. Because last night was a hometown. Another thing I hate about this WrestleMania, everyone who's from New York, hey, you get a title, you get a win.
Hey, you know what was wrong with New York? Chicago win. But we
wouldn't do that in Chicago. We'd actually have a legit, because the people would riot in Chicago. They would go crazy over that and boo. But that's the thing. You don't have anything to work off of, and you just focus on these few women, and now what? So
you have the bodies, though. You have the SmackDown roster.
You have the
Beth Phoenix. I guess Dana Brooke is doing a thing now, but how would you build that up now, right?
Right.
So you have Becky on top of this mountain, which is great, but there's no one I can see even being in that picture. Unless you feed her someone. That's what I'm worried about Lacey Evans.
Sasha and Bayley lost last night and tonight. Bayley, they're not being booked, to look elite in a lot of ways.
Right.
What's up with Nia? In a lot of ways, she's been kind of falling off the radar. Iconics are doing a solid job. They can be relevant no matter what, because they have the mic skills and personas.
Sure.
So they can be relevant. But where does everyone else? We talked about Asuka kind of off camera. She getting buried now, because I don't see where you go from here. She is not a Becky Lynch level, Charlotte level at this point. She was a year ago,
right.
But now after he took the title off of her, she really went down a few notches.
So I was hoping that tonight Asuka would have shown up because she was eliminated in the Battle Royal and showing, I guess, a heelish character, because her character's kind of ambiguous, a tweener, right?
Could be both.
Yeah, could be both. I thought it should be more of a mean streak thing, because she had the title and she tapped out Becky, and Becky has both of them now. But again, nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. So I'm with you in that way. I'm kind of concerned about the women's division, but I won't say they totally destroyed it. I think that's way too dramatic.
They just think they have a lot to repair, because they've done some damages. They really overlooked all the SmackDown one.
Yeah.
And besides Becky and Charlotte, who you have moving forward, maybe Lacey, who's still protected in a lot of ways because she didn't lose out. She looks like the winner out of all of this right now. Yeah. No one looks that legitimate. Even Mandy's push was stalled. So in a lot of ways, Alexa's back, which is good. We saw her in the ring tonight, so that's going to help out. I don't think she needs... I don't think with Alexa, she's so over no matter what she does that she really doesn't need to... she doesn't fall into that category. She's over anytime.
So let's go into the chat real quick. We got one comment saying, Alexa Bliss will have a title by SummerSlam. She's not really relevant without it. Tashik Morris says, Asuka is above Becky. And also we have some love for the women's division. Or even Paige will come back as a heel manager, please. So I mean,
with a injured, a neck?
She could be a manager, yeah.
Oh, manager?
Don't
possibly.
Take bumps,
Okay.
Yeah, she won't be able to take bumps, but she does be like, see my movie, and then whatever. But before we move on to our next topic and do our promo, I just want to say that the women's division, there is some potential there. We have some class. I'm more concerned about what it means in the big picture. There are a lot of bodies on both the main rosters. I kind of think NXT is thinning out. I'm not sure what is the next wave going to come in this women's evolution.
I think this brand split might be the saving grace of this all, because we will see who moves over where and how they're going to be booked. And I think that's going to matter. I think the women who are going to be switching the brands, I think they're going to be the most vital of anyone, because that's going to really tell who's getting pushed and who's not.
For sure.
And we know who gets pushed all the time, and that is you guys out there, actually. Yes, thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk, and always joining us on the Raw After Show and following all of us on our wrestling shows here. So make sure you keep on coming in on the chat like you are right here, and commenting, subscribe to this channel, and of course, if you are listening iTunes, pull over. Don't be driving and doing this. Give us a 5-star rating. and comment on there too. I believe you can comment, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you can comment on iTunes. Just keep on interacting with us. We like to hear your theories and thoughts, and of course, always your thoughts about me, which there's plenty full of that. But yeah, keep on making us what we are. We do this for you guys. That's why Flobo and I are here today.
To be fair, there's only one comment about you, and it's always booing you.
Really?
Wherever you go.
I feel like,
Boo this
I don't
man.
hear it.
Boo this man. So we had some crazy and interesting returns and debuts today.
Yep.
Sami Zayn.
He got a lot of time, didn't he?
He got a lot of time, you know. I mean, not quite hitting the gym, but he's back. I'm so glad he's back. I love his character and all that. And we got the Undertaker today. So, what was your most surprising return, and which ones you thought that were going to come out where you're kind of disappointed did not show up tonight?
Okay. Most surprised the Undertaker.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming because if he didn't bring out for Mania, I was like, "There's no way he's going to be here tonight."
He was eating pizza on Instagram.
There he is. Back to the dead man. That was surprising.
Yeah.
Lars, I thought we kind of were waiting for it and expecting it. This was the moment for him. Interesting debut with the angle thing.
Okay.
I mean, he got immediate heat for it. Sammy was a nice surprise. I was surprised we didn't see Cena tonight, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I thought we were going to see him second night. Just come out to Brooklyn and, just do a promo or whatnot and show his face that he's around.
Fair
I was surprised about that. And that's about it, really. I thought they did a good job when it comes to actual debuts and returns.
Yeah, I was not surprised Cena was not there because I felt like once you said Elias was going to be back again, to have Cena there would just be a repeat of that because I wouldn't have him in another segment. Undertaker showing up was interesting. I would be the person to pass the torch to, I guess, but Elias actually has to wrestle and change his finisher because that does not work for me.
And he needs to drop the guitar because that gimmick is holding him back from being a major star.
But he's so musically talented, though.
He's a major star without it.
Okay.
Give him a Drew McIntyre kind of character, and he's got the look.
Drew
and
McIntyre has a character. He's kind of psychopath.
He's got better mic skills and persona than Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
So he could be a better version of Drew McIntyre if you give him kind of like not a crazy in a sense, psycho, whatever, but you give him like, this guy's a destroyer mauler, sort of thing.
Do you give him tights or no?
Yeah, you might change up his look. Sure. I don't know. You might keep the jeans, and I don't mind the look, his clothing, but you take away the guitar, that's his crutch, and the musical thing, and make him an actual heel that people are fearing.
Yeah, sure. I agree, but I disagree. I think the guitar is kind of playing, and the interruptions kind of played out, but I wouldn't want to see him be anything else. He's been Elias for so long. I guess I'm into that character, almost in his holding pattern, like, now do something. I'm on board. Do something.
Well, he's not doing anything. That's the thing. He's just doing. He's in good spots. I mean, last two nights he's had really good spots with Taker and Cena.
Yeah.
It's just we need more because right now he's becoming a gimmick, right? He's becoming a gimmick act in a sense, not a guy that you should build on.
Yeah, the most interesting debut in this case was Lars Sullivan for me too. Like you said, I'm not sure what it takes. Not even the fact that you attack Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's already out the door, so it just feels like you dominated. You kicked the guy while he was leaving, and your slams were fine. Personally, your riding your tights is not like symmetrical. That was kind of in mind. And he's not wrestling with the shoulder pad, knee pad thing anymore. So I'm glad he came out. I'm glad that it wasn't just an idea of this rumor showing up and not showing up. And I'm glad he's on the roster, but I don't know how to feel about him. Am I supposed to hate him because he's just so dominant and he dominated Kurt Angle, a legend? Or am I supposed to hate him because he interrupted this segment of him getting his comeuppance with Baron Corbin? Like, why am I supposed to feel about Lars Sullivan? Or is it too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell. For me, I'm just not that impressed. Honestly, he kind of, best case, he's like a Braun Strowman light. Braun Strowman in the good days, worst case, he's just kind of a guy that has a run and then fades away, like into the mid card. I don't know. I don't see him as being the next big thing in any way. Sure. I don't.
Here we are in the chat. I would say Jose Medina said someone whose shtick was a guitar went to the Hall of Fame. Honky Tonk Man, congratulations on making the Hall of Fame.
Jeff Jarrett, right?
Jeff Jarrett too. Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the. Yeah, you're right. That's two guys. So what's up? You're done.
That's too many guys
with
guitars. Yeah, you can't just keep on riding on that.
I think we have Evan here on the line.
Oh, we have Evan T. Mac on the line.
Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
What's up,
What up?
East Coast living.
What up?
We're good, man. Where's that chip cup? I was going to use it today.
What's that? What's going on?
Are you hiding from Lars Sullivan? What's going on?
Listen, man. Kofi Mania running wild over here, brother.
Man, gimmick world champion right there. I give it. Me and my buddy were talking on the phone in Chicago. He's gonna keep the title until Money in a Bank when someone cashes in on him. That's the longest run I see with Kofi.
So let me ask you a question, Evan T. Mac, because I was on that couch when Kofi won that title, and I'm gonna say something to you. This is one of the greatest moments of my life. Growing up, there weren't so many people my shade or darker that even got a chance. And Kofi showed up, was there for years, was there a good guy, didn't ever have a wellness violation, never beat a guy backstage or got arrested, and he got a title with his boys. Didn't turn on them, didn't do anything crazy, and I almost teared up. I gotta ask you, being live, how did you feel about that, man?
You know, it's crazy. It's so funny you say that. And first of all, Jim always talking about the gimmick, but was that not the best match of the night? Yes or no?
Yes, and it was way too early.
Oh, you're crazy.
Shane and Miz stole the show.
Not the Miz. Not the Miz at all.
Did we lose our guy?
I think we lost Evan T. Mac.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
We had some connection issues there. Well, thank you so much for the chat for letting us know that Evan is a vagabond about these parts.
He's around.
Yeah, he's around. So, but
Kofi Mania.
yeah, I know people were looking good today. I think it's about time for that.
Oh, yeah. You know what's up. Hey, hit it. Oh, okay. What's up? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jim's Boudoir right here tonight. Yes, sir. We are putting some Lacey Evans. You're getting in the boudoir.
Is that before or after you gyrate to the camera?
Both. Okay. Hey, those gyrations ain't, no one can do them like I can.
Okay.
Lacey Evans gets in a boudoir. Alexa Bliss, 2 nights worth of boudoirs. Okay.
Really?
We're talking
2 nights?
Yes.
2 nights.
WrestleMania. I mean, she had multiple outfit changes.
Yeah,
And
she was a host.
and then tonight she gets in a ring and delivers that too. Back to the old Alexa Bliss. Completely. My boy Evan T. Mac, Charlie Caruso, we're going to put her in as always.
Yeah.
So that's, hey, Mandy Rose at Mania. I'm putting a lot in a boudoir right here because deservingly so. And, got a guy suggestion?
Yes, I do. If you guys are on Instagram right now, I want you to follow one of my favorite friends in the world, at Evan T. Mac. This dude had a red jacket.
That's
with
right.
Sweet goods. It was crazy. Check it out on Instagram. He's in my boudoir if I ever had one.
Hey, I was going to kind of hint on that, so you took it away. My boy Evan T. Mac in the boudoir looking fresh in WrestleMania weekend. I mean, no one comes close to that.
I was salty that I was not there, but it was so sweet to see Evan T. Mac.
And Peyton Royce, of course, winning the tag team championships and boudoir forever.
Rainbow Flames was a theme?
Yeah, that was a cool outfit thing they had.
They
Definitely.
deserve that title. I think they deserve that title, hands down.
Deservingly so. It was
Deservingly
coming.
so.
So that was Jim's Boudoir. Hope you enjoyed my dance. It was only for you.
Well, you stop with the dances or whatever?
No,
man?
I cannot stop. I mean, my body is gyrating the right ways, and, I got the moves. Hey, I brought sexy back before Justin Timberlake. So.
Oh my gosh. Sexy left, bro. Okay, so we saw the unification match last night. We had a tease of unification match today. Do you think the brand split is over with?
No, it can because of the Fox move.
How so?
Because on Fox, here's a thought I actually had.
Okay. Thoughts you don't have?
Well, I have a lot. But
Thoughts
here's
you
like
stole?
a grand thought for WWE.
Yeah.
This might be the first time. I know they probably wouldn't do this, but this might be with a Fox move. They want to even out SmackDown as much as Raw, right?
Fair enough.
Why not go end the brand split and separate to 2 halves in a year? One half, you have all of SmackDown, so you're doing both shows on FX, on Fox, and then you do on USA. So you do for like 6 months, and the next 6 months you have Raw. It's almost like an off season. If they ever wanted to try something fresh and new, you do half a year of Raw and then half a year SmackDown. And then it'll give the guys and girls a rest, for a few months. I mean, they can maybe do still house shows and sides, but the actual TV tapings and pay-per-views, you could unite on some pay-per-view. Like, we would make sure that they would have like a Mania set up, that everyone would be there, and some of the other shows. But maybe you can split up the brands in half. Now that you're going to put so much focus onto Fox, you're going to make SmackDown probably a 3-hour show. Why not do a half and half? Unite the, separate the brands, but have them by seasons.
That's actually a pretty good idea. The only thing I can say will be a counterpoint to that is because the profits margins are so slim for the live event business that you would not cut that off and have an off season. I would rather them have so many people on the roster that you have A and B squads on each brand, and that way when you go to Wilkes-Barre, PA, or Worcester, Mass, you're not wasting your top level talent. But that's just like me playing armchair quarterback and all that.
Yeah, but it's something to consider. I mean, they're going to try to do something big with this, with the split. I mean, this new split, because that Fox deal is coming in October, and that's going to be a big deal. They're investing a lot of money, and Fox is expecting things from them, like in a lot of ways, to have the best product possible.
Sure.
So
the chat does not quite agree with you. They're asking me which half gets WrestleMania, which is pretty funny.
No, I think they come together. At some point, when you start the Royal Rumble, those couple months through Mania, you're combined. You're both on a road together. Everything else is an off, whatever you divide the other 9 months or so separately.
I would say that's the biggest nut that the WWE has failed to crack over the past 15 years, is really making SmackDown look like a second level A show for extended period of time. You get the better talent, better matches, but everyone always goes, oh, I just watched a Raw. Even because you can get Raw recaps of SmackDown, but it never ever translates.
Yeah.
So
they tried to make SmackDown live, and it still didn't work that way.
Yeah, and you're Fox, you have this thing, and you want your top talent. Wouldn't that be easier than to say, well, there's 5 world champions, 2 on each brand plus NXTs, or 5 tag team champions? Like, wouldn't it be easier to say there's one champion of this wrestling thing and he or she is on SmackDown, or he or she is on Raw?
Right.
So, are you advocating for the split or no?
I mean, just without this idea that I had, no, because there's too much talent on both rosters, and you need to separate them. And if you just put it into one show, some of them are going to get overworked in a lot of ways, the main talent, and others are going to be lost in the shuffle. Because, even though you do 3 hours each week and you can maybe have someone on Raw and someone not appear on SmackDown, but you're still having the top stars appearing both shows. You would have to, probably week in to week out. So you need the brand split in that sense, especially now with the Fox move where you need to deliver quality. I get that. You would want a Seth Rollins on Fox too, right? In that way, but they're going to have to do a really good job with this shakeup to bring in legitimate talent over.
Well, it's not going to be a shakeup. That's Dean Ambrose. Last match tonight against now it's called the certifiable badass, apparently, Bobby Lashley, formerly the Almighty. Thoughts? Just thoughts.
Well, I'm going to miss Johnny Moxley. I'm going to shed a tear for a guy that's been jobbing to everyone for the past 3 months.
I said your sarcasm.
I mean, I'm not going to miss him because they didn't use him. Hey, he could be good in AEW or somewhere in the indies. That's fine. Bar wrestling, wherever you want to put him in.
Wow, bar wrestling. It's a good promotion, but weird.
No.
AEW bar wrestling.
Even Moxley would never do that. Come on,
snap.
let's be serious here. But it was forgettable in a lot of ways. I know they announced this, so they gave him a little bit of a send-off. But what has he done? He's just been jobbing to everyone else. And credit to him for actually doing the job, and not making a fuss about it or anything. Like, you got to give him credit for doing that and going out and taking big bumps, too, on a lot of these matches. But he was there, and that's it.
And I think it's the first time we actually had Renee go out there and say, oh my gosh, are you okay?
It was time, now or never, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that leads the question I have. It's like, he was jobbing on his way out. Would you have thought of it differently if they had not announced it, or if they said, tonight's his last match, as opposed to being in January, hey, he signed this, not going to sign an extension, he's going to leave in 3 months, this is his farewell tour.
End result would have been the same.
For you.
Here's the thing. It brings me to the Angle thing, if you want to touch on it. I thought what they did, the WWE with Angle, was shameful. It's absolutely disgraceful what they did with him last night.
Yeah.
Not only the thing they gave him Baron Corbin. Forget about that point. What has happened here is that Angle, he cleanly loses, which I disagree with. They actually should have had him go. If you're going to have him actually go against Corbin, at least have him go over and get a proper send-off in that way. What they did, all of this now makes complete sense. This was punishment. This was Angle being punished. He had an unceremonious kind of exit. The reason why all this happened, why he got Baron Corbin, why he was kind of left in the dirt in a lot of ways, is because he went to TNA in his prime. This is WWE finally kicking him in the ass, in a sense, for doing that, leaving in the prime. That's what it is. It really is. It's them taking out, kind of it's their turn to lay it into him. And by not giving him a ceremony, they had to put him in a Hall of Fame because it would have been a sham if he never got in a Hall of Fame.
Right.
And this whole thing, you think if they really valued him, the way they should have, because he's one of the top, easily 10 of all time wrestlers, and one of the biggest stars of ever.
Okay.
For him to get this kind of send out with the Corbin thing, losing clean and just having this kind of a throwaway, farewell tour.
Yeah.
If this was anyone else, they would have gotten 10 times better of a return, but him leaving to TNA tarnished that thing forever for them, and this is their repaying him for that. That's their receipt, in a sense, as they call it.
I gotta disagree, man, because he didn't have to come back and have those actual matches. He was a Raw general manager and he got sent off. I think going out on your back is almost a common staple of wrestling, almost the most classic way of doing it. Yeah,
it would have been better if he didn't wrestle, actually, because what we saw is them kind of using. They put over Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is not going. It's not going to do that much for his career to get over
Angle. Guy. That's just me personally.
Yeah, it's not the guy. But first of all, if they really wanted to give him do justice and do all that he deserved, being an all-timer, top 10 all-time, this is not a send-off unless you're punishing the guy. And we saw with Ambrose too. He decided to leave, so they punished him by having him job every week, even to like EC3 guys that don't even get on screen, and take big bumps. Like, they will let you, if you're going to turn against them or walk away, they are going to do whatever they can to bury you.
I don't want to go too far in the weeds in this, but if you're Dean Ambrose who wants to be punished, wouldn't it be a lot more devastating to ice him and let him sit at home and say, don't come to TV? He's getting these matches in.
Oh, his wife's still involved. That's another thing. You don't want to ruin that relationship. You don't. You don't. She's still an active member of the roster. She's a big part of.
She should know that it's not guaranteed wrestling time because your husband is a wrestler. That makes no sense.
But here's the thing: they did at some point have an issue about Renee almost leaving for ESPN, and they did everything they can to keep her around. So this is a valuable person for them to have around. Not only she's done a tremendous job. And you don't want to get on their bad side. So, and plus, Ambrose done too much for you. You might want to have him back at some point. You don't want to do a CM Punk type of relationship where there's no irreparable. So you still want to include the guy in some ways. And I guarantee you, he still wanted to come out and be present at least at the shows.
Sure. Well, maybe we agree.
And they wanted that Shield moment too. Remember for Fastlane.
Bam. So we have a couple minutes left. I know the Superstar Shakeup is next week, and we're thinking about who's going to move from Raw to SmackDown, and SmackDown to Raw. Jim, do you want to start off with?
Yeah, I got my notepad.
All right, hit me.
This is who I want to move, and it really has to. I don't know if they're going to do this, but. For Raw, we need AJ Styles on Raw. He's been played out on SmackDown. I think he accomplished everything he could have on SmackDown.
Okay.
I think it's time for him to get to Raw, get some fresh feuds. It's going to be a new kind of chapter for him. I think it's time for AJ to move over. Randy Orton's burned out on SmackDown. He's been there for too long.
Okay.
And he's literally wrestled everyone. He's put over so many people. We have not. Orton's had one of his best gimmicks in the past year or so, but he has been booked like a lower mid-carder, getting pinned a lot. He needs to go back to Raw, new feuds. Samoa Joe, get him back to Raw. I think there's going to be more for him to do there. I don't care for this guy. I think he's a low mid-carder at best. Nakamura, put him on Raw because there's nothing for him on SmackDown. I mean, that guy's been one of the biggest disappointments in the last decade.
Decade is kind of harsh, but I will say it was a letdown.
I mean,
I will agree it was a letdown.
Usos, I think
agree.
more
Usos
high
on the list too.
profile. Alistair needs to stay on Raw. Keep him on Raw. And then for the women, I would go with Mandy Rose
to Raw
and Asuka.
Okay, yeah.
I think those are the ones that need to go over to Raw. I think they're fresh feuds, new storylines, and just I think better opportunities from them on there.
Sure, I would say Naomi and the Usos to Raw as well. Eliza SmackDown, Braun to SmackDown. I think you and I are in agreement with Joe and Nakamura to Raw. I'll put Reigns on SmackDown with Ricochet. Those two also I would put on SmackDown as well.
Here I go for SmackDown, right? Okay. So I got Braun Strowman. He is buried on Raw. He needs that's the only chance of his revival to go on SmackDown. Elias with a new character potentially, or if they want to run this gimmick, put him on SmackDown. Finn Balor. Okay. I think he's been on Raw from the start.
Balor Andrade, I don't see it.
Yeah. Nia Jackson, Bayley.
Okay.
They're getting lost in the shuffle.
Break up Tamina and Nia.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you don't need to.
I don't know. Yeah. They're a tag team technically.
Ricochet. And your big name, since we're sending over Orton and AJ, Roman Reigns to SmackDown.
Roman has to go to SmackDown.
You need to separate him and Seth Rollins because they're going to have to feud eventually. Yeah. And you want to keep... he could be the face of SmackDown in a lot of ways. Roman replacing AJ.
Yeah. Even though I kind of like in the mind's eye, he's always a red brand guy, I think it's time for SmackDown.
Yeah, he hasn't really done much on SmackDown. So let's send him over there. I think this kind of shakeup will really make a difference long term.
So I got to ask you about like tag team fodder. Would you move either the Bar to Raw or Riot Squad to SmackDown? Because they're both like these like fodder, like we'll lose to anybody at any given night kind of teams.
Yeah, Riot Squad just got moved. I'd still keep them there. If you add some new people, it might change the mix and maybe even break them up at some point.
Okay.
And then as far as the bar needs to be broken up. Those guys have been too long together. And I know they've established themselves as a legitimate tag team, but they need a fresh start for both of them.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm looking forward to the Superstar Shakeup next week. And we'll have the after show right here on AfterBuzz TV. Before we get out of here, Jim, where can people find you all out on the internet and all those crazy things, even on the street too, if they're looking for you?
Oh yeah, I'm all over the streets in Hollywood. And you can find me on all social media at the Jim Alexander, realtalker.com. That's REL. And I'm here. I'm always here for you guys, so I don't know why you're hating. Gotta love the heel.
Shout out to John Acosta, Jay Quasto, TK Trinidad, at TK Trinidad, and Evan T. Mack, who could not be here because they're on assignment. I'm Flobo Boys. You can find me on Twitter at Flobo Boys or Instagram at Flobito and Flobito.com, where I'm still running for Palms Haywood Council.
Mayor.
Hashtag Boys the Hood. Please vote for me. And until next time, this is Jim Alexander. Thank you for watching.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.